Initially, this story was packaged up, and like I said at the end of the previous video, it was packaged up with the New York City Police Department, and obviously you got a little taste of it over there in the corner, the second story down on the trending side tab. This story of the missing Utah college girl, Madelyn Allen, it was bundled together because this was a smaller story before we got into the insanity of the captor. Okay, we'll get into what he has to say next, but yeah, it was a little bit of a smaller story, and it only had a couple of minutes, and well, feel the need to extrapolate on it because the story, it does have some grisly details. It is pretty traumatic in and of itself, but it did have a good ending, okay? And you can kind of see, you know, based on that statement, why I wanted to kind of join the two together, because of two great endings. It was clever at the time, but now it doesn't make any sense because they're two completely different stories. Anyways, there was a college girl who was messaging and hooked up with a 39-year-old guy, and then ended up about a week later getting recovered. Okay, she was found by officers naked in a basement room covered in coal. Like, what the fuck is the logic behind that? And hopefully we'll find out more as to why she was being covered in coal. That doesn't make any sense to me, okay? Maybe she was a little bit too illustrative with her previous sexual encounters. That's the only thing I can think of. But this dude's nuts anyways, and more about him in a minute. A Utah man is in custody, and after a missing college student was found alive in his home, thank God, naked and covered in coal, authorities said. Why? Madelyn Allen, a 19-year-old student at Snow College in Ephraim. Okay, like this bitch is a lily white as a motherfucker with a giant forehead. Okay, so there was probably plenty of coal there to cover her up, if that's in fact what happened. So you had somebody who was as white as the college that was named after in Ephraim, whatever, Mormon country in Utah, was reunited with her family after being rescued late Saturday, some 5 days after she disappeared from her dorm room. Snow College Police Department Chief Derek Walk told reporters at a press conference on Sunday. Brent Brown, 39. 20 years age difference. Nice if you didn't kidnap her and rape her, but you did, so you're a bag of shit. Who allegedly held Allen captive at his Loa home. Okay, these are must be little city or little towns in Utah, okay, if that makes sense. For days after meeting her online, is facing felony counts of aggravated kidnapping, rape, object rape, or ugh, God, maybe they found more coal than they were bargaining for, and obstruction of justice. Yeah, no. I think, like, shouldn't unlawful confinement be there as well? Or maybe that's the obstruction of justice, or maybe, oh no, he was lying to police officers and then they just found that out. Anyways, found out that she was there. We don't have a lot of information about him, Walk told reporters. We don't know how extensive his relationship or her knowledge of him is thus far. That's what these hearings are going to potentially find out. Allen, originally from Kaysville, had met Brown in an online chat group and arranged to have him pick her up on December 13th, according to a probable cause affidavit obtained by the Salt Lake Tribune. That was the house, okay, seemingly innocuous, okay, you just kept her in the basement. That's fucking weird for like a week, just about a week, okay, leaving at, what would that be, 9:22 from her college dorm, and that was the last time anybody's seen her. Security footage at the community college showed Allen leaving her dorm room while carrying a plastic bag her roommates reported her missing when she didn't return the following day, court documents show. Yeah. Brown allegedly became violent in ensuing days while allowing Allen to text her family once on December 14th. Smart enough to get the text message out. That's good to see. That's a smart girl. Except for finding yourself in this situation. That's pretty fucked up. But managed to get a message out there. And that's a good thing. Gets her father's forehead, I guess. He took the teen's phone and wallet, tied her up while he was at work, and threatened to go after her family if she left or told anybody about him, the affidavit states. Okay, listen, if you guys find yourself being kidnapped by somebody and they leave you alone at their home for hours on end and threaten to go after somebody if you just say anything, it's all bullshit. You should just probably try to get yourself free, okay? Just, pretty standard stock advice, I guess. Investigators ultimately used cell phone tower information to track down the missing teen in the town about 500 residents, the newspaper reported. Loa is nearly 90 miles from Snow College. Yeah, if she didn't get that text message out of there, who knows what would have happened to her. Wouldn't have been found, that's for true. Brown answered the door to his home and said he was alone. That's probably the obstruction part. But cops later found Allen in a basement room when she was naked and covered in coal, court documents show. Allen's parents, Jonathan and Tanya Allen, said they were overjoyed Sunday to be reunited with their daughter. When she was checked out at the hospital, her injuries were unclear. We dropped to our knees, Jonathan Allen said as he got the call from the cops on Saturday. We were so grateful, elated, we couldn't describe the feeling that we had when we embraced each other. Yeah. No, this is awesome. It's a great story, except for the whole, kidnapping and rape part. That's pretty terrible. But the fact they got reunited ahead of Christmas, that's a great story. Allen suffered a dangerous and traumatic ordeal, which she and her family have just started to understand, her uncle said. She's a fighter. Uncle Jacob Allen told reporters she's now a survivor, and we are grateful she is with us again, so now she can recover. But we had our first hearing with, Brent Brown. He had some things to say, that's for true. The kidnapper, a 39-year-old, asked a judge to release him from jail because it would be nice to go home for Christmas. Oh, really? After you tried to keep somebody against their will in your home? It would be nice to go home for Christmas. Oh, okay, cool. Tit for tat, fucker. And see his kids. Oh, okay, he has kids, and he was keeping a teenager in the oh, God, I hate this story. I don't want any more details to come out. See his kids after he abducted and raped a 19-year-old student who was found naked and covered in coal dust. Oh, okay, now it's coal dust. All right. A Utah man made his initial court appearance on Thursday for the kidnapping of a 19-year-old college student who authorities said was found naked and covered in coal in the basement 5 days after leaving her dorm room to meet him. Okay. Brent Brown, 39, pleaded to a 6th District Court judge to release him on bail so that he could spend Christmas with his children. Ugh. He was speaking via video link from Sevier County Jail. Don't know how to pronounce that. Where he'd been held for some time of his arrest. He was being held at the time of his arrest on Saturday. Duh. Brown faces charges of obstruction of justice, aggravating kidnap, rape, and object rape, targeting 19-year-old Snow College student Madelyn Allen, whom he had met in an online fetish chat room. This gets interesting. Brown allegedly took away Allen's wallet and phone, forced her to strip naked, and tied her up while he was at work, claiming that it was a part of a kidnapping roleplay. And she went along with that? Okay. Oh, this is weird. Okay. I might have to follow this story a little bit closer because this is getting fucked. Teen also accused her captor of threatening her family. We know, we heard, but he didn't act on any of it. Okay. I'm not on his side, by the way. I'm just on humor's side because this story is insane. Judge Wallace Lee, simp, appointed an attorney to represent Brown and ordered him held without bail. Fair enough. She was found tied up in his home. Apparently being held against her will. Yeah, citing his being wanted on a felony warrant from another county. Okay, and the possibility being a threat to the community. Yeah, if he's got a felony warrant from another county, just be thankful that the feds aren't involved yet. When given a chance to weigh in on the bail, Brown said, "It would be nice to be home for Christmas. I don't get to see my kids." For good reason, it seems like. Brown is due back in court for a combined detention and preliminary hearing on January 10th. Yeah, he looks like somebody who would drive a panel van and keep somebody against their will in the basement. Court records indicate that Brown had multiple run-ins with the law over the years stemming from a wide range of charges, including traffic violations, who hasn't, assault and witness tampering. Interesting. In March 2018, a warrant was issued for his arrest, and Box Elder... enough with the box. County after he failed to appear before a judge in a witness tampering case. Interesting. He racked up 2 additional warrants in the intervening years, including for failure to appear on a traffic citation in Cache County for an unknown charge last year in Wasatch County. Brown's social media presence paints a picture of a self-styled macho cowboy, not with that beard, with a day job working as an equipment operator. Yup. I could see it. Brown's social media presence paints... his Facebook profile picture displays a young Clint Eastwood brandishing 2 guns accompanied by a caption, "Where do you get all the coal?" The West wasn't one on Sandals, East beef. I don't get it. The page is brimming with right-wing memes glorifying Trump. memes. Cool. Law enforcement and Second Amendment rights, criticizing Barack Obama and President Joe Biden, and mocking coup restrictions. Yeah, oh, okay, so he was just concerned that Madelyn was just going to get the coup, and the best place to keep her safe was in his basement. Fuck this guy. Ugh. That right there. Second coming of Clint Eastwood, if I've ever seen it before in my life. Speaking of things I've never seen before in my life, he hasn't seen his feet before in his life. Ain't that a bitch? The people who fucking get on their soapbox and they try to project that shit out the most, yep, always seems to come back and bite them in the rather large ass. Human trafficking should scare you more than COVID. That's true. And how do you explain keeping somebody tied up in their basement? I don't get it. So I want to get some more information on this. Allen met Brown in a chat group on the messaging app Kik, K-I-K, and agreed to have him pick her up in Ethereum on December 13th, the affidavit stated. Snow College security video showed Allen leaving her dormitorium at around 9:20 p.m. last Monday. When Allen failed to return home the next morning, her roommates filed a missing persons report. Investigators learned that Allen had been struggling with depression and anxiety, and that she used dating apps. I think those two are probably correlated. Get off dating apps. Because if you don't, you just find yourself in fat weirdos' basements. A search of her phone records revealed text message exchange with, of a violent sexual nature, according to the affidavit. While police are looking for Allen, she was at Brown's home in Loa, nearly 90 miles away, where, according to the court records, a relationship between the college student and her date became non-consensual and violent. Oh, you think so? Affidavit stated that Brown took away Allen's phone, allowing her only to text her family the words, "I love you!" On December 14th, a message that alarmed her parents and siblings, prompting them to go to the authorities. Brown allegedly tied up Allen while he was at work, took away her wallet, and threatened to come after her family and her sister. Yeah, we know all that stuff. After Brown learned that the police were looking for Allen, he threw away her phone, but not before the authorities were able to use cell phone tower data associated with her December 14th text messages to track her to Loa. She probably had some dank memes on there that he wanted to get off of her phone. Police officers were scouring the small town of 500 inhabitants, according to the affidavit, and spotted a petite woman with blonde hair in the basement of a home on Main Street. Okay, so if she was tied up and covered in coal, how did they see her in the this story, man, I've got questions. And just more of a recap on everything that's already here. The affidavit states that police officers found Brown in possession of a gun and 3 knives. Okay, is he allowed to have them? Who knows? Under questioning, Brown allegedly admitted to meeting Allen in a slave domination fetish group on Kik and picking her up on December 13th, reported ABC4. Brown also reportedly said that he took away Allen's phone, kept her tied up to prevent her from leaving and threatening her family, but it claimed it was all part of their sexual roleplay involving a kidnapping scenario. According to the affidavit, Allen confirmed on the phone that she had communicated with Kik user by the name Cowboy. Okay. And agreed to meet with him on December 13th at Snow College. Allen then said that after Allen brought her to his home, that should be Brown, right? Brought her to his home in Loa, he made her strip naked and prohibited her from putting her clothes back on for the entire duration of her captivity. Well, if they're doing some weird BDSM stuff, I don't know, I'm not about that life, but isn't that something that could be consented to by 2 adults? I don't really know. This is starting to fall off the rails a little bit. According to the affidavit, the following morning, after Brown took away her phone, Allen became concerned that she would not be allowed to leave. Yeah, okay, that's a little bit different, okay? Like, if everything was above board before then, and that was the first indication that maybe I'm not getting out of this one alive. Maybe you should be doing a little bit more background checks and just hooking up with somebody you only know as Cowboy on Kik. But kids be wild these days. A 19-year-old student claimed that the alleged captor raped her several times a day. Oh, and even though she didn't want to have sex with him, and that he once choked her. Allen said she did not try to leave because Brown knew her family's address and had made threats against them. Yeah, that's when you go to police officers and you just tell them of exactly what happened, and then, you know, being a girl and going to the cops with allegations, that tends to get results. I'm not saying it's not warranted, and I'm not saying that she isn't in the right for doing all of this stuff. And if things went sideways and that's the guy on the other side of the allegations, I'm just saying a couple of things, okay? But yeah, this story is buck wild, and I just anticipated, like I said, just throwing it in as just a little bundle story of, oh good, she got recovered from her the captor, and this guy could be going away for a long time, and that'd be a good thing, but weird details on that one, so. Speaking of which, we got an even weirder story up next, and 'tis the season to talk about the Klan, I guess. With that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.